Hey there, Hoop fans! Another full week of action in Week 4 of the ABL as we welcome you to another edition of the ABL Highlights program. I'm your host, P-Double, and for the first game, we go to the Lion City, where the Singapore Slingers prepare to defend their undefeated record at home against Satria Muda BritAma from Jakarta. It's a tough task for Jakarta right from the opening tip as Singapore takes control. Kyle Jeffers establishes his inside game immediately, going to work in the post against his defender. This offensive rebound sets the tone as the Slingers do much more of this throughout the game. However, Jakarta won't be denied as they match it with a basket of their own on the other end. Jeffers continues his inside dominance, shown here with a quick score off the inbound pass and an offensive putback off the missed layup. With Jeffers demanding attention on the inside, Michael LeBlanc starts to heat up from the outside, hitting a couple of wide open jumpers. Renzi Bajar with a spin move in the lane and the quick layup, which is answered by a three on the other end by Singapore's Desmond O. But Bajar shows he can also hit from the outside with a three of his own. Satria Muda BritAma tries to not let the game slip away early, going aggressively to the hoop. But LeBlanc's strong outside-inside game proves to be contagious for his other Singapore teammates as Wei Jianhong drives to the hole for two and Wei Long Wong dials one in from long distance to increase their first quarter lead. Satria Muda BritAma's defense showing signs of weaknesses here as Singapore goes on a scoring run, driving the lane for easy layups, which leads to open outside shots against a collapsing Jakarta defense. Even a solid block by Yobel Sondak leads to yet another putback by Kyle Jeffers. Alex Hartman seems to be the only bright spot for Jakarta, but even his three is easily matched on the other end. Hartman continues to work hard for Jakarta, but midway through the second quarter, Singapore keeps building their lead with more than double of Jakarta's points. Hartman tries to fire up his teammates by firing a three. But Faisal's steal leads to a turnover as Singapore's Wei Long Wong hits the deck on the defensive play. Desmond O hits a floater from the baseline. And Theo Little answers on the other end by hitting for one of his only two made shots from the field. The 1-2 punch of LeBlanc and Jeffers gives Singapore a huge lead as they close out the first half with a score of 53-26, thanks to a late shot by Theo Little. More of the same story after the halftime break as Singapore refuses to let Jakarta back in the game. But Alex Hartman isn't ready to give in as he hits another three, going 4 for 7 from beyond the arc. The Slingers going to their bench to try to sustain the lead as Pathman scores 2 of his 8 points here. And the Singapore defense shows how it's done with a block, which leads to a fast break going the other way. Faisal with the steal and running the floor for his team, hitting 2 of his 8 points. But Jakarta is still unable to contain the Singapore big men inside the key. Alex Hartman doing it all for his side with a nasty block on defense, rewarded by yet another beautiful 3 on the offensive end. But it's quite difficult for one man to do it all on his own as the Slingers outscore Satria Muda BritAma 42-28 inside the paint. Hartman showing his passing skills, which lead to an open shot by Prihantono and a strong move on the baseline to try to give his team a chance. But poor defense by Jakarta ultimately leads to easy baskets on the other side. Satria Muda BritAma down by 26 late in the third quarter as they try to make a scoring run, breaking down the Singapore defense. But the Slingers bench hold off the run and outscore Jakarta 41-22. A late shot by Situ Morang to close out the third as Singapore cruises into the final quarter with a comfortable 25-point lead. Both teams trade baskets to open the fourth quarter, but this one looked to be over right from the start as Singapore built a huge lead in the first quarter and never looked back. Michael LeBlanc finishes with another game-high scoring performance with 23 points and combining with Kyle Jeffers for 42 of his team's 96 points. The Slingers are red hot from beyond the arc, hitting 9 for 15 from the three-point line and shooting 63% from the field. Satria Muda BritAma's Alex Hartman, with a solid effort in a losing cause, finishes with a team-high 28 points, going 57% from beyond the arc and hitting 6 for 8 from the free throw line. Rebounding tells the story as the Slingers out-rebound Jakarta 44-25, which helps Singapore hold off more of Jakarta's offensive attacks, building an insurmountable lead by as much as 33 points during the game. It's a disappointing game for Satria Muda BritAma Jakarta as they drop to 500 for the season with a record of 2-2, and the Singapore Slingers continue to dominate the league with a stunning undefeated record of 4-0. Much to the delight of the Singapore Slinger fans, they defeat Satria Muda BritAma Jakarta with a score of 96-71.